Welcome to another episode of Slumdog Gaming. This is Joe. This time I'm doing something a little bit different. I'm going to review a movie, but nonetheless a mini-series. Stephen King's The Stand. The Stand, being a 6-hour mini-series, was released in 1994 on ABC. This was a worldwide event. People were extremely excited about this being turned into a movie. With how much of a history and a fan base this book has, written by Stephen King, this mini-series was going to be an epic for sure. The budget that they had was pretty reasonable with what they were able to do with the movie. The mini-series is over 20 years old now, but it's still as memorable as it would be with Stephen King's It. And there's a lot of big names in this. You have Rob Lowe, Molly Ringwald, Uzi Davis, Miguel Ferrer, Gary Sinise, and a lot of other big names. Stephen King and Mick Garris being the director of this miniseries, are also in this movie, and Stephen King is in quite a few scenes, more than your average one scene in a movie of his other books. With how big the story is and how many characters there are, I'll try to make this as simple as possible. Somewhere in California, the government was working on a new strain of flu called Project Blue, and it releases and kills everyone on the base, and a lone security guard with his wife and his daughter escape, ended up dying also, but they spread the flu, killing 99% of the human population in the United States and killing everyone else around the world. Although it is not explained how it was spread around the world, it seems simple enough to just keep it in the United States. With everyone that was immune to the flu, of course you have your good and bad people. Everybody that is immune, they start having bizarre and weird dreams of an old woman and a dark man, or the walking dude as they call him also, called Randall Flagg, who also takes form of the devil or something like a creature from the Black Lagoon, but from like a cornfield or something like that. The old woman is like a savior from God to help people for the good. She tends to lead them towards Boulder, Colorado, and Las Vegas is where Randall Flagg is. Another thing that I would like to say is I also really enjoyed the fact that they showed them in a bunch of different states. They showed them in Vermont, Texas, California. Um, they showed them in Des Moines, Iowa, and Wyoming. If I'm missing a couple other states, let me know, but I have found that very enjoyable that they showed that the virus was spreading throughout the states. Then it showed the lone survivors, the good and the bad, living throughout the United States with everyone being dead. With what they had to work with the book, with all the characters, with the main characters that they chose to keep in the miniseries, that found it to be very believable. Some of the characters I did not like would have to be Nadine and Harold. I just found them to be really annoying and just not pointless, but you really felt that you wanted to hate them for who they were, and they secretly wanted to be on the good side, and yet they were bad and pretty much being possessed by Randall Flagg to move in and attack all the good people. One of my favorite characters has to be Lloyd, played by Miguel Ferrer. Even though he was pretty much a dumbass through most of the miniseries and even in the book, I found him to be pretty believable, wanting to stay on the bad side and be with Randall Flagg to absorb as much of the popularity and being known as a person as possible. Well, enough being said, this is definitely a movie that I would recommend that you sit down and watch. It's very difficult to watch because of its 6-hour length, but you could easily sit down and watch each episode, which is 4 of them. You have The Plague, The Dreams, The Betrayal, and The Stand, each one being about an hour and 30 minutes, I believe. Well, with this being our first movie review, I hope you enjoyed this. I had a really difficult time doing this, so hit like and subscribe, and I will try to continue to do more of these. Um, have a good one.